Hello, I'm Caede, your guide. Today, I'd like to show you Osaka Castle, one of the symbols of Osaka. When you hear the word castle, you probably think of magnificent buildings like the Palace of Versailles in France or the Schönbrunn Palace in Austria, right? However, castles in Japan are not so glamorous because they were built for war. Instead, you can see ingenuity in the castle's architecture to prevent the enemy from invading. Japanese castles are characterized by moats and large gates that prevent the enemy from entering, as well as tenshu, or a castle tower that allows for a far-reaching view where you can hold up in case of war. It is said that Japanese castles were built in places that were difficult to be attacked by enemies. That's why they are usually located on top of a hill or mountain. But in Osaka, it's located on a flat land. I wonder why. Now let's look into a bit of history. Osaka Castle was built in 1583 by Toyotomi Hideyoshi, who is one of the three most famous warlords in Japanese history. At that time, Japan was not yet a unified country, and warlords from different regions held power and ruled their domain. Hideyoshi, who came from a poor farming family, ran away from home at the age of 13 and set himself the goal to become great. So he became a retainer of Oda Nobunaga, who was trying to unify the country. However, since Oda Nobunaga was a great warlord with many retainers, Hideyoshi had to make efforts to stand out among those retainers. A famous story in Japan is that one cold day, he kept Nobunaga's straw sandals warm with his body temperature, and when he offered them to Nobunaga, his boss was very impressed. Hideyoshi was liked for this caring attitude, and he rose rapidly in the ranks. Needless to say, he spared no endeavor for his boss, and he was very ambitious in his labor to unify the country, attacking 18 regions in 10 days. Thanks to his care and effort, Hideyoshi took control after Nobunaga's death and finally unified the country. Yeah, after all, care and effort are important in every era. After about 15 years of construction work, Osaka Castle was completed in 1583. It is said that the castle was built on a flat land instead of a hilltop. This way, the castle would serve not only military purposes, but also as a political and economic center. When it was completed, Hideyoshi, who was a master at attacking castles, praised it immensely. So even today, there are many buildings built around it, and the area has become a central place in the economy of Osaka. I think Hideyoshi would be very happy about that. But when Hideyoshi died in 1598, the Toyotomi family began to lose power. Tokugawa Ieyasu, a former subordinate of Hideyoshi, took control. Osaka Castle, where Hideyoshi's son lived, was invaded by the Tokugawa family in 1615 and became theirs. Osaka Castle suffered considerable damage, but it was reborn with the full force of the Tokugawa colors. Osaka Castle was then transformed into its current form after passing through the Edo period and the modern era. Let's take a look at the main buildings one by one. The castle was built by Hideyoshi, who was good at attacking castles. This makes the castle's layout a bit difficult for sightseeing. But since you are here, go ahead as if you are the enemy. First, you pass through the main gate, the Otemon. There are 4 entrances to the castle tower, but since we are here, let's use the main gate. After crossing the moat, you will see the Otemon. You might wonder why this main gate is named so. It is said that in the old days, the gate was called Otemon or chasing gate, which became Otemon over time. Ote means chaser in Japanese. It used to be called Otemon because the gate was used to stop the chaser. A magnificent gate indeed. The present Otemon Gate was built by the Tokugawa shogunate in 1628. There are many buildings in Osaka Castle that were damaged or burned down in one of the fires at the end of the Edo period, air raids during World War II, or lightning strikes, and have been rebuilt. Although the old temple has been repaired, it still retains the same appearance of nearly 400 years ago and is designated as an important cultural property of Japan. The gate is about 5.5 meters wide and 7.1 meters high. Speaking of Osaka Castle, let's talk about the stone walls. It's no exaggeration to say that the stone walls and moats are spectacular. Many of the buildings were rebuilt in the 20th century, but the stone walls are original from the Edo period. Before you go through the old temple, take a look at the stone walls on both sides. Do you see the slight difference? On the left side of the gate, the stones are piled up randomly, and on the right side, they are piled up in an orderly fashion. Both were built in the early Edo period, but the one on the left is older. It took 10 years for Tokugawa family to rebuild the new Osaka castle. During that time, masonry techniques were improved and they were able to pile stones in an orderly fashion, resulting in a stone wall on the right. Interesting! On the left side of the stone wall, you can see the Sengan Yagura, which was built to protect the main gate. It was also used as an armory. Since it is a building that protected the castle, it has holes for stone dropping and gun attacks. After it was built in 1620, it was remodeled little by little, but in 1961, it was dismantled and repaired to its original state. It is one of the oldest buildings in Osaka Castle. It is usually closed to the public, so you can only see it from the outside. Actually, the tower has tilted 1.8 degrees to the right because of land sinking. It may need to be repaired again in the near future. The Tamon Yagura can be seen from the front to the left after passing through the old temon. This building was used to intercept the enemy coming through the old temon. It is connected to the old temon and the Sengan Yagura in the back by a wall. Like the old temon, the Tamon Yagura was built by the Tokugawa shogunate in 1628. But unfortunately, It was destroyed by lightning and rebuilt in 1848 at the end of the Edo period. The size is surprisingly 710 square meters, about 7 tennis courts large, and there are as many as 10 rooms. Many enemies can be attacked from here. When you pass through the old temon, you will see a large stone in front of you, right? Osaka Castle is famous for its huge stones. There are so many big stones scattered all over the place. They even have their own names. The stone here is called Otemitsukeishi and is the fourth largest. It is about 48 square meters big, which is bigger than my apartment. All of these huge stones were presented to the shogun by the feudal lords. If you go closer to the castle, you'll find even bigger stones. I'll explain more about them later. It's a gentle uphill walk, so take your time while taking pictures. I'll be waiting for you at the next big gate, the Sakuramon. Catch you later!